And we're live.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So I'm Laurel and Luke's next to me. There is a possibility that I will disappear through this broadcast because I have an issue with my broadband at the moment that Sky are trying to fix, and it's being monitored, but it's gone offline twice since we tried to go live. So fingers crossed that it all works. So tonight's Facebook Live is with Luke Edge, ethical hacker of Advant Edge and also of Be Cyber Smart UK. And we're talking about backing up your computer and all your information. And I'm going to just give you a really brief example because, I mean, obviously I'm very aware of phishing and all the rest of it and dodgy emails, and I post about it quite a lot, and I try and help everyone to be aware of, you know, current scams and things that are going on because it's constantly changing. And not so long ago, I got a message from EE, a text message, which is in the trade known as smishing, as opposed to phishing, which is an email, dodgy spoof email. And it said, you know, your account money hasn't gone through and we're going to switch off your phone. And actually my bill was due that day. So I just thought, yeah, something's gone wrong or whatever. And I clicked the link. I realized when I clicked the link that the link and the page wasn't an EE page. And so it was obviously dodgy. So I didn't actually put my email or my password in, but that's where that link would have taken me. And had I have got the blue, right, Luke? And had I have got the blue screen of death, which I've had before, which is either ransomware or all your files are encrypted, or there's just some nasty virus, which is an apt word in these days and times at the moment. But I couldn't access any of my emails or any of my information, and I actually at that time didn't have my email file backed up. Basically poor IT support a long time ago. But that's what happened, and I lost 20 years of emails, and it's just so easily done. And people say, oh, people shouldn't click links, but it's not that easy. You can just be busy and be fooled, and then you've lost all of your data. So absolutely. I might ask you some questions along the way, Luke, but in the main, over to you.
Okay, yeah, so I just wanted to, as Laurel said, talk about backups, the importance of having a backup on your as part of your IT setup, really. So a lot of what I do is based around helping businesses recover from hacks, how to stop them getting hacked, and part of that is having a continuity plan in place. Now, as business owners, we have a responsibility to ensure that we have our data backed up. Backing up your data is required if you want to remain GDPR compliant, because under GDPR, you have to be able to provide copies of your data upon request to individuals who request it. Failure to do so can be considered a breach of GDPR. If you're hit with ransomware, then the only true way to get your data back and recover is through a backup. Redcar County Council are currently experiencing a major ransomware attack. The backups have let them down. The BBC did a report recently, and the council said, well, it's going to cost more to recover from our backups than it is actually pay the ransomware fee, and that shouldn't be the case. Having an effective backup solution, it shouldn't cost you as much just to click a restore button and then restore your deleted, corrupted, or encrypted data.
I've got to interrupt you in full flow because I just find it unbelievable that a council. I mean, who are they using for their IT?
A lot of councils have it internal. They use an internal department and things, and it's all managed internally by themselves. So they don't really have an outsourced IT provider. To be honest, the UK councils and the UK government should have taken notice of what was happening in the States. Hello, I'm back. No idea what happened there. I think StreamYard kicked me out.
I
No,
thought it was my internet that had
no,
dropped.
no. StreamYard kicked me out. I had an error message appear saying we've lost connectivity. I'm back. Facebook user. I'm not sure who's commenting. It just says Facebook user on my end.
Oh yes, it does. It just says Facebook user. Well, that's maybe there's StreamYard don't actually allow the name to appear. But yes, carry on.
So yeah, like in the States, a lot of local councils and things have been attacked with ransomware and stuff over the past couple of months, and they've been down for months and months and months, and it's kind of brought entire city operations to a standstill. So realistically, the government and the councils in the UK should have followed suit and taken notice of what was happening over there to build up better defences against it over here. But they haven't. And now there's the risk that people who are like in the Redcare council area, their tax money is going to be spent on either paying off the ransomware, which is the council's own fault for not having proper cyber security defences in place, or paying for the cost of a consulting fee of a consultant and things to come in and restore their data and kind of put in place more resilient cyber defences. Now, the National Cyber Security Centre is working with the council, but again, like I said, if they had a decent backup in place, it should have just been a case of, right, we've been hit, turn all the internet, disconnect everything, wipe the computers, click restore, computers rebuild themselves from, 24 hours ago, back up and running in a couple of days, full, back up to full speed. So this is the importance of, as a business owner, we hold a lot of data on our clients. We're constantly sending out invoices and things. Hackers will try to breach our email accounts and breach our computers with ransomware and things like that, because they know not a lot of business owners have backups in place to actually be able to just go, right, no, I don't need to pay the ransom fee, 5 Bitcoin, which is a couple of, we're talking 5-10 grand. I don't know the value of Bitcoin at the moment. I can just hit the restore button and I'm back up and running. So when it comes down to backups, I always say that, and there's a acronym kind of within the industry, and it's the 3-2-1 rule. So you should always have 3 copies of your data, 1 primary copy and 2 backups. They should be stored in at least on at least 2 different types of media, e.g. a local hard drive, so an external hard drive plugged into your computer, a network attached hard drive, or a tape drive if we're talking real old school, or even the cloud. And one of those copies of data should be offsite. So if you are using the cloud as one of your 2 types of medium, you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But that way you've always got a copy of data that's offsite and is inaccessible to any ransomware or any other nasty virus or infection that might damage your data, and you can always restore from that. Because what a lot of ransomware viruses and things do is they'll actually try and look for local backups, so hard drives plugged into your computer, other hard drives on the network and things, and actually try and encrypt those backups. And the ways around them is to ensure that your external hard drives and things always have you always need to authenticate with the hard drive before you can write data to it. So a lot of backup software will go, right, I need to back up to this hard drive at 12 o'clock at night, and you'll give it the username and password for that hard drive. And when it goes to do the backup, it'll authenticate with the hard drive and say, I'm allowed to do this. The hard drive will go, yes, you are, and then it can write data. Whereas ransomware won't have that password or the username, so the hard drive will stop them. That's one way of protecting on-site local backups. But off-site backups, always have an off-site backup, because in the off chance that your on-site backup does get encrypted, you can always resort to that off-site backup.
Also, isn't it so that if you only use an external hard drive for backup, and let's say, God forbid, something like you had a fire or you spilt tea all over it or whatever, and that's your only backup, and you don't have an off-site backup.
Exactly. So if you don't have an off-site backup as well, and your house burnt down, God forbid, your office catch fire or whatever, then you've lost your only backup as well. So you might as well have not had a backup in the first place. So always have an off-site backup, and I can't stress that enough. You must always have an off-site backup. The other kind of important area, so I've lost my train of thought now. Sorry.
I was going to say, while you're regaining, that if anyone has any questions, Luke is very happy to answer them. Kim, the reason why we couldn't see that it was you is because on the platform we're using, it doesn't give us the name of it just says Facebook user. So if anyone does have any questions, please say your name, because it would be nice to address you by your name. And Luke, back to you.
Yeah, so sorry, I was going to say something and then I moved on to the fire thing. Where was I? Offsite backup.
I think you were talking about cloud backup and making sure that the passwords would stop a would-be hacker being able to access from, by having installed a virus, having access to your hardware because they wouldn't have your password.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. So if a ransomware, if I got a ransomware infection on my laptop now and I had an external hard drive plugged into it, by default, my computer will just allow me to click on that external hard drive and access the data. Now, there are tools out there, and a lot of external hard drives actually come with pre-installed software that you can set a password and username on the hard drive, which you have to enter in order enable to let you authenticate and access the data on that hard drive. It's not encrypting it. It's just putting a block in the way of saying you can't access this data until you've given a username and password. So that will actually stop a virus kind of getting onto the hard drive or a ransomware encrypting your external backups. When it comes down to cloud backup as well, what a lot of people don't realize is just because you're, it says at the top that before leaving a comment, need to grant StreamYard permission to see your name, but I can't see where to do that. Oh. Well, I'll have a look at that and see what's going on there.
Is that you, Kim, asking that question?
I think it is.
Yeah. We'll work that out for our next Facebook Live, because we weren't aware of this actually beforehand. It said we could enable comments, but I failed to say it doesn't give the name of the person. Or
yeah, I just checked on the group, Laurel. It's Kim Blackman.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So when you're using cloud as well for your day-to-day storage, so if you're using OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, etc., they're not actually, if you're using it as your primary storage location, so where you access all of your data on a day-to-day basis, like I do, that is not then a backup. Don't get me wrong, the platforms have the ability to be able to recover deleted information from them and restore previous versions, which is like the platform's own defense mechanism against you accidentally deleting data, but it won't stop you. If you hit with ransomware, the data on those cloud platforms would get encrypted. Now, like I said, they do have their own restore functionality and things, but I wouldn't use that as your sole kind of backup continuity plan. Is, oh yeah, I can restore my files for up to 90 days after they're deleted on OneDrive, or 120 days if it's Google Drive, or I don't know what Dropbox is. You need another backup. So if you are using the cloud as your primary file storage, then the 3-2-1 rule is your primary data, the first copy of your data is actually in the cloud. So then you should realistically be backing up another 2 copies of that data, one to an alternative cloud. There are systems out there like Backupify by Datto, which is a really, really good one. It's actually what I use myself. And then also copying the data down to an external hard drive. And copy the data to an external hard drive. It makes it a lot quicker to restore in the event that you do have a system failure. Because that's the other thing. Backups aren't just for ransomware. So if your computer dies, you want to be able to recover your data. The last thing you want is to turn your computer on one morning and you get an error message on the screen saying unable to find boot disk, which means your hard drive's corrupt. You're then going to have to take it to an external.
That's the worst thing ever. Yeah. Can I just go back to what you just said without remember where you are, because I don't want to. Okay. When you were just talking about, actually, I've even forgotten now myself because I was reminding you. Forgot myself. Yeah. When you say about Google and you can restore after 90 days, or Dropbox or whatever, you can only go back to a restore point. So if it's 5 hours before, let's say, and you've just written, I don't know, your dissertation or a really important email, whatever, you can only do it from a certain point of time. Is that correct with a restore point?
With a restore point, yes, but with if you was to go, I know you use OneDrive, Laurel. If you actually deleted a file off of OneDrive now, you can log into the cloud portal of OneDrive and actually then recover it from the OneDrive recycling bin. So they're the two different things. The restore points are actually done by your Windows operating system. And it's a form of backup for Windows is creating a system restore point. The OneDrive backup is different in the fact that it's actually just file based and it's not touching your operating system. As well as backing up your files, it's always important to back up your computer as well. So, for instance, Windows has its own built-in backup tool that will take a full system image, and it's almost like getting a camera, taking a photograph of your computer in its current state, and then moving that photograph onto an external hard drive or an external media. And in the event that your laptop does die, you can just recover everything back up to that last restore point. You should always run a restore point every day, or a system image every day. You do a lot of work on a day-to-day basis. Last thing you want to do is, I've downloaded this program, I've started working on, for instance, if you're a video editor, you've got your video editing software on there, your Adobe Premiere or whatever suite you choose to use. You started working on a video, you haven't finished compiling it, you haven't saved it to the cloud, it's all saved on your computer. You come in one day, you turn your computer on, it says no hard drive found. Well, you're going to want to be able to restore to a restore point. And get that data back and get up and running as quickly as possible. And that's why local backups, so external hard drives and things, are beneficial because they're quicker. But if you're using things like OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, then you can actually back up your data to an external cloud provider. Now, I can see there's some questions coming.
Yeah, I was going to say, Luke, there's some questions. So I think the one that says keep receiving a strange email saying I have a voice message, is this a virus? I think that's Kim asking that question.
I think that was Darren.
Darren's there afterwards. This is Darren, the taxi driver, who says, I do have iCloud and have hard drive backup. But whoever, let's answer the question. So
let's go for the first one. Keep getting strange emails. I do as well. Everyone does. So they are spam. And what will happen, I know this because I inspect the emails and things. You click the link, it will take you to a login page that will ask you for your Microsoft login credentials. That is a spoofed Microsoft login page. You enter your details into that page and it will capture your username and your password, and you've lost access to your Office 365 or Microsoft account then. Some of them are really clever, and it will just say log in to view voicemail, and it will give you 3 buttons, and it will say log in with a username and password, log in with Google, or log in with Microsoft, or even log in with Facebook, and it'll ask you for the credentials for that platform for the button you've clicked, and then the hacker will then target whatever platform you've given them access to. And this comes back to using the same password over and over again. Most people use the same password over and over again, so chances are your Facebook, your email accounts, your Google, your Microsoft all have the same passwords. So if you've given him access to one, he's going to try all of those accounts using your email address and your password. And chances are they'll be successful. So what they'll do is if they get the Office 365 email details, what they'll do is they'll scan your emails, especially if it's a business account, look for any invoices you've recently sent, resend those invoices, but with updated bank details, and say, please pay this invoice to these new bank details. And this is called a BEC, Business Email Compromise. I dealt with one of these last week. And what happens is the hacker will go, right, okay, this invoice is for 10 grand, for example. We've updated our bank details. Please pay or we're having issues with our bank. Please pay via PayPal, or please pay to these new bank details. And unless the company who's paying the bill verifies the details, chances are they're going to lose money. You're never going to see the money, and the hacker's going to make off with quite a bit of money. And you'll be surprised how often it happens. Literally, the one I dealt with last week, the external bookkeeping agency who did all the payments for this company, often emails seem to be from Office 365. Because they know Office 365 is such a well-used platform within the business community. They'll target Office 365. G Suite do get them. But they're just getting more and more sophisticated, and the login pages look really realistic. But I did a post, not that if you do ever click the link, you are ever kind of dubious. I did a post on following up from Laurel's one about the smishing attack that she had on how to identify a spam URL. what to look for, and how to verify that it's a genuine URL.
URL is the link.
Yeah, URL is the link, the web address. So what was the next one?
How do you run the restore point?
How do you run the restore point? Okay, so if you're running Windows 10, which you should be, because Windows 7 is no longer supported, so GDPR compliance and things, you need to upgrade to Windows 10 if you haven't done so already.
Luke can help with that.
Yeah, I can give you a hand with that. Not a problem. It's a quick, easy process.
Do I use, Luke?
It'll be your right hand pointing left.
My right hand pointing left?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You're now pointing at me. Everything's back to front. So on Windows 10, emission attack him.
What does that mean, emission attack?
Emission attack.
Kim, you'll have to elaborate there when you can. Right.
So I'll focus on the restore point because that's kind of in the topic of the conversation at the moment.
Yeah.
So on Windows 10, if you open up the start menu and just type in restore, it'll actually come up with saying create a restore point. You sound like a good man to know. Thank you.
He's a very good man to know, Kim. Let me tell you, he works so hard. He's very similar to me because, as you know, I get messages up to about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I try and answer them if I'm up working, and which I invariably am, and so does Luke. Which Luke, I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that publicly, but but he does answer calls, and he just works like a demon.
And then try to catch up on the sleep. Darren, again, is it safer if you suspect a link, copy the link, email it to your phone, and then open the link rather than open?
Can I just say, as a layman's answer, Luke, to that, I think what he's saying is that is because people think that you can't get viruses on an Apple. So if you open the link on an iPhone or, you know, another kind of phone device, then even if it's a dodgy link, it won't get, you know, it won't mean anything. It won't damage your. But is that correct?
I mean, it's if the website has an embedded attack on it, so some links you click, not only are they trying to capture your login details, but they're also trying to execute code on your computer that will actually infect your computer or trick it to download something nasty. Doing that on an Android, most of those are designed to work.
Oh, I think we've lost Luke again. It seems to, I thought it was me that was having connectivity issues, because I've just had Sky Broadband installed, and ever since, for the last month, got some kind of issue with Wi-Fi. So I said to Luke, if I disappear, then, you know, you'll just have to carry on. But actually, Luke,
Hello?
I'm just explaining.
So I don't know if Laurel's still with us or not.
No, I am.
The screen seems to have gone blank. Oh, hi, Laurel, you're back.
No, I didn't go away. You went away.
Oh, you went away on my screen.
Oh,
Never
you know,
mind.
we're back.
Anyway, yeah. So where was I?
You were talking to Darren about the phone, the Android phone.
Yes, that's right. So the links on the phone. So a lot of websites are designed to, like malicious websites, will execute code on a Windows operating system. It is kind of safer to open them on a phone, but I'd still suggest not opening them at all. The URL should or the link should usually be quite identifiable that it's malicious. For instance, if you're visiting a PayPal website, or you get an email from PayPal or a text message from PayPal, and it says, you know, please log in to change your password, or you have funds waiting to be transferred, we need to confirm your bank details, or some excuse, then the very last bit of the URL before the .com or .co.uk should say PayPal and nothing other than PayPal. So it could be login.verify.yada yada yada .paypal.com. But as long as it says that PayPal.com, it is PayPal's website. If it starts with PayPal and ends, and just before the .com or the .co.uk, it's got something like UK-PayPal-bank verification, then that's not PayPal. They've just bought a domain name with PayPal in the word. within the name. So yeah, just make sure that the link you're clicking always has just the name of the website just before the .com or the .co.uk. I will find my previous post and repost it into the group so that you guys can actually.
So basically, if you get an email from, excuse me, EE, PayPal, Apple, you're saying the company name is the last part of the URL before the .com or before the .co.uk.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So yeah, exactly. Kim, yes, I am in the directory. I've been a member of the directory for a couple of months now.
Yeah, he is in the directory, Kim. And anyway, I can just give you his number to call him. So
Yeah.
yes, he is just as focused. We're peas in a pod.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not from our age. I'm an old pea, and he's like a garden pea. I'm a frozen pea. Yeah.
Very useful exact name of email sender. So emails can be, Darren, when I get an email with a link, I check who the email is from, because quite often you can see the dodgy email. Yes, exactly. So when you get an email, you can quite often see that it is a dodgy email just by the sender address. Sometimes these can actually be your address. I get it quite a lot. Emails will be spoofed to look like they come from me.
Yeah.
And the hackers are using MailChimp. So when you actually click the link in the email, which I wouldn't advise anyone doing unless you've got a sandboxed environment like I do, you click the link and the URL opens up Google Chrome, and it will actually say in the URL at the top, something mailchimp.com, and then a load of / and it will redirect you after that to the login screen. No, that was Kim, not Darren. Resender image. Oh, okay. Sorry, Kim. So yeah, but so just be careful if you're not expecting an email, or you don't use a system. Like I don't have a voicemail system that uses my company domain name, which is advantageit.com, to send me voicemails. It comes from a third-party service. So when I get these emails saying you have a voicemail and it says it's from voicemail service at advantageit.com, I know it's rubbish. And like I said, when you click the link, it actually takes you to a MailChimp URL. So they're using MailChimp to spoof my domain name, which is something that MailChimp are actually working on at the moment to kind of stop this from happening. A few of the other email platforms are actually becoming victims of the exact same thing, because they have what's called authority. They're trusted senders. So you can make it look like your email address is coming, an email is coming from these platforms, even though it's malicious. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly touch back up on the difference between a restore point and a backup, just for Kim. So Kim, yeah, if you open up the start menu and type restore, you will have the option to actually restore your computer. It will say create a restore point. But on top of that, all a restore point is it creates a file on your hard drive that says restore the computer back to this point in time. It's different from a backup. A backup is a whole image of your computer stored externally, which is kind of what you need to do. Restore points are great if you're installing programs.
Can I just explain for Kim and my language?
Yeah.
Kimbo, so basically a restore point is a point at any given time where you can basically peel back your computer to that point. So it's not, that's correct, right, Luke?
Yeah. So if I give an easy example, if you was installing a program on your computer and you weren't sure if this program was going to corrupt your computer or not, what you could do is create a restore point. And Windows does this by default for a lot of programs now, actually, is create a restore point. It installs the program. Should your computer crash after installing that program, you can then just open up system recovery, which the computer should do automatically upon the next reboot, and then choose that restore point you created to get the computer working again without that program installed. Now, a backup is taking a full image of your computer and storing it externally, and you should do that at least once a day. If you don't have the storage space to do it once a day, at least once a week. But to create a backup, yes, thanks. I understand what the restore point is, but don't know how to create it. Okay, well, Kim, if you can't find it through the start menu and things, feel free to drop me a PM. I'll happily send you over. I've got a PDF on how to do it, so I can happily ping the PDF over to you. It's really quick and easy. The other thing is,
I want to just move on quickly to. I want to ask you about the Ring doorbell, because I've been very reticent ever to have it, because obviously it's Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi can be hacked, and then I think I posted it in our group, Be Cyber Smart UK, about how they're now saying two-factor authentication. And blah blah. So from the updates that they're doing in terms of their security for this Ring doorbell, do you now feel it's safer for people to have the Ring doorbell on Wi-Fi? I would be very reticent, even though I know they have made updates.
If you enable two-factor authentication on any IoT device, Internet of Thing device, Alexa, Ring doorbells, IP cameras and things, you have that added security, and it's a lot safer to have it on your home network. Now, the problem with the Ring doorbells and things is up until recently, people have been kind of flippant with their security around them. They've been falling for phishing emails, entering their Ring doorbell username and passwords onto these dodgy websites. And then those details have been released on the dark web or for sale on the internet. And it allows hackers to then log into your Ring doorbell account, speak to you over your Ring doorbell, see if you're home or not, and do all sorts of things, and that's when cybercrime starts becoming physical crime, because if you know someone's not home or they leave the house at certain times of the day, that house is vacant, and you can then instruct a burglar to go around there and actually break into the property. So that's when cybercrime starts getting linked to real world crime. But no, if you've got two-factor authentication things on these devices, just like an email account, it makes it a lot harder, because even if they do get hold of your username and password, they still need that second authentication method. Now, as long as that second authentication method isn't your email account, you're fine. Because chances are, if they've got access to your Ring doorbell account, you're using the same password again for your email account, and the code will just get sent to your email.
So now we go back to discussions we've had before, which is don't use the same password on account. And that's the reason why everyone everywhere says don't use the same password, which is really tricky if you're trying to remember them all. But again, forgive me.
Things like
LastPass, absolutely fantastic. It has saved me so much time being on about 800 different platforms. So many platforms. I don't have to keep any record of any passwords whatsoever.
LastPass keeps track of it. LastPass keeps track of it. I use LastPass myself. Absolutely love it. I'd be lost without it, if quite frankly. As you can imagine, in my role, I've got passwords for thousands and thousands and thousands of different accounts and systems. And without LastPass, I would be absolutely lost, and I would probably end up resorting to a notebook or using the same password over and over again, which would make me a hypocrite, because I'm always telling people not to use the same password. So I always make sure I use LastPass to generate passwords. Causing cybercrime. Good point. Not using the same password. Yes, nightmare to remember.
I mean, Ken and everyone else that's listening, one of the, and Luke, obviously, correct me as I go along, but as far as I'm aware, we have a lot of things that, Alexa, whatever, and the password is just set as a generic password, which enables hackers to get much further in than when you get these devices, immediately you want to change the password so that it's your unique password. Is that correct, as I understand it, Luke?
Yeah, a lot of security cameras are one of the biggest ones. There is a website called Shodan. I'm actually going to share my screen quickly just to show people how easy it is to find this type of information about who's got insecure accounts and Wi-Fi cameras and things. Now, might I add, I actually use a wireless camera myself in my house. It's my baby monitor for watching my daughter because she's learned to climb out of her cot and things. So, it's just nice to keep an eye on her. And I know a lot of families do the same. Ours is locked down and behind a firewall and things within our house. I'm going to share my screen. Application window, share. So you guys should now see my screen. The website I'm on here is called Shodan, and Shodan is a website on the internet that indexes everything. So for instance, I can go to this website and I can just go CCTV, and right here it's given me loads and loads of CCTV systems that are all publicly accessible. which countries they're in. I can filter it to the United Kingdom. Oh, okay, I need to log in. My mistake. But here we go. So we've got Thailand, Spain, Bulgaria, Kuwait, Sweden, Lithuania, United Kingdom. It gives me the IP address. They're using BT as their broadband provider. They're using ESS CCTV server. Not much more information, but then you can actually click through that and it gives you open ports. Now, ports are what devices use to communicate with other devices on the internet. So port 3389 actually allows you to remotely, this is being run on a server. Port 3389 allows you to remotely control this server. You can actually brute force the username and password and log in. Port 82 would usually be for the video stream. Port 1723 is for a VPN connection. 8086 again could be for a video stream. Any of these other ones could be for video streams. It all depends on what the camera system displays the stream on. And now what I'm doing now is actually perfectly legal. It's all publicly accessible information. There is nothing illegal about this. All I'm doing is just having a look. And the worst part about this is a CVE. Now, CVE is a code that's assigned to a known vulnerability. So this CVE is saying a remote code execution vulnerability exists on the remote desktop service, which means that I can remotely inject code onto this server if I wanted to, and then start getting it to do all sorts of weird things like installing remote access tools. Now, the company who owns this server should realistically be locking this down so that none of this is accessible or publicly accessible without first logging into a VPN connection, or it's behind a firewall, so none of these ports are being displayed as open.
But why are they allowed to display this information for everyone to see?
Because all this website does is just scans the internet and looks for web service or services, applications and things that are communicating with the internet, and then does a port scan to see which ports are available on it.
Why does it do that? For what purpose?
This tool was actually used by people in the cybersecurity industry to kind of we'd type in the IP address of our clients, for instance, in the search bar, and kind of run an audit on our clients to see if we've missed anything, if anything is publicly accessible. But other than that, the website was just created, I believe, just to show how vulnerable it is. Things are. So you can literally search the internet for pretty much anything. Is a search engine for internet connected devices.
Unbelievable.
And it's free to access. You can create it. There are paid accounts, as you can see. This is obviously, they are fairly expensive. But the whole idea of Shodan was that it's a search engine for your internet devices. It's scary because you can actually click those. Sorry, I've got an itch on my back. I'm trying to get it. You can click those IP addresses, type them into your browser and things, and it will usually take you to like a login page. Hypothetically, here it will take you to a login page for a CCTV camera. And now most CCTV cameras come with the username admin and the password admin or the password password.
That's what I mean. Like, there's just
a lot of people don't change them.
Yeah.
So changing your default password on your equipment is a must-have. Especially if you've got IP cameras, internet-connected baby monitors. There are videos, and I will link them in this stream afterwards, of hackers actually hacking and speaking to babies in their cots over baby monitors. I'll link a video as well that was done by a white hat hacker. So white hat hackers are the good guys. We come in 3 sets. You've got white hat, grey hat, and black hat. Black hat are bad. Grey hat are they're tinkering in the middle somewhere. They're in limbo. And then you've got white hat, which is people like myself. We do it for good. We do it to help businesses rather than try and financially ruin them. But the video that I'll show you is a white hat hacker who come across a load of Ring doorbell account details online, actually logged into the Ring doorbell accounts and was speaking to the residents over it, but informing them that their accounts had been hacked so that they could rectify it. And he did that for like 300-400 Ring doorbell accounts. And it's just crazy. That's
unbelievable. Luke, you've given us some amazing information this evening, and I think we should. We've got a very nice message from Darren, who's a taxi driver, and says that he's got to go to Heathrow to collect somebody now. But tells us to take care and says, fantastic show, we must do more. And I tend to agree with him. So 45 minutes, let's set up our next one. And I hope Luke hopes that we've helped you tonight, helped you understand a little bit of the background and how you can protect yourself. And we're doing these cybersecurity Facebook Lives every month. Obviously, the next one will be in April, and we'll help keep you informed. And you're always welcome if you need IT or cybersecurity help to contact Luke. He's in the directory under Advant Edge. We also have a cybersecurity group that we run called Be Cyber Smart UK, where you're welcome to join, and we post updates on current cyber scams. You can ask us for help, support. One of us will pop up, I will, and if I can't help, then pass it over to the expert. Yeah. So Luke, thank you very much.
No worries. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you for giving us your time. Really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again live next month, when hopefully my Sky broadband issue will have been resolved.
Yes. Your broadband issue